coworkers into their home. It could be a friend who's interested in sharing with a big group of their friends, so you're going to their home to do a presentation. It might be you sitting down with 2 family members, but it's a presentation, so an optimal health presentation. By the way, for brand new coaches, just know that your business coach is always willing to do that first presentation with you as a teaching tool. They're willing to come in and do your optimal health presentation so that you can learn how to do it for yourself.
And this is also even a health professional's office.
Absolutely. Health professionals as well. Coming in, stepping in and doing that first presentation.
Okay, so the first step in putting on a presentation is to pick a date. And something that we're trying with our team is we're trying a floating date. So for instance, the 15th of the month or the last day of the month. And that way your clients can always know that there's something going on those dates. And the reason we're trying the floating is because there are always people who cannot come on a Thursday night. They always have something. So we're trying this floating date so that it'll fall on maybe a Tuesday and then a Wednesday and maybe a Thursday, maybe even a Friday. It just depends on the calendar. But picking your date is the beginning. The next is, let's talk about invitations. So the very best, since this is a relationship business, is either face-to-face or on a phone call. That's how you're going to get the best response. But we also send out emails. I even tried recently putting an event on Facebook. Got a couple of clients to come that way. And what I have done is made a little invitation that can be sent out on email or as an attachment. It can be printed and handed out. And all this is, if you want to do one, is you go into your back office, you go into resources, go into your document library, and type in letterhead and search. And this is for health coaches. It's a piece of stationery that has the Take Shape for Life logo, and then the information can be put on there. Okay? Let's see. While I'm at it, let me show the labels. We're going to talk about name tags in just a minute for our presentation, but while I'm talking about that, also in your back office, you can again go to resources, document library, and type in labels, and you will get these name tags. And if you want to make health coach name tags, it's got all the information in there, but I just took all the information out there blank, and when people come, we just have them put their name. So that's where to find that. Okay, then the most important thing about inviting people is follow-up. So you've invited them, they said they might come, but right before the event, it's very important to follow up because not everyone's going to show. So the more contact you make, the more you ensure that you're going to have them there. We've been doing this as a group, and the reason that's good is because the numbers is always, it speaks volumes when they see other people there that are interested in getting healthy. So like Gayle said, you can do it a very small presentation, but also as a group, we invite our team to come, they invite their guests, and then those are the most successful because then we have a whole room full of people that are ready to get started.
And it's so much more fun.
And it makes it more fun.
It's a lot more fun.
So, and then the other thing that I wanted to point out is that it also serves as training. When you do it that way, you're also showing your health coaches how to do the presentation, so it serves as training. And we've been following ours up with the business presentation as well. So we will tell them when we do our invites that if someone's interested in the business opportunity, that at the end of the health presentation, we'll take a small break and then we'll present the opportunity. And lastly, we've learned that if you have them come 15 minutes before the start time, that gives everybody a chance to check in, do a little chit-chat, but then we try to start on time so we can honor those people who show up on time.
All right. Now, as far as the optimal health presentation setup, the first thing would be a welcome table. And some of the tools that we always put on the welcome table is, what Debbie already mentioned, the name tags along with a marker to do that. We do have clipboards for each pre-client that comes in that has the optimal health profile on it, as well as the trilogy / BMI chart on it. So that along with pins. And we also have on the table the Optimal Health brochure. We don't hand these out in the very beginning, but this is something that we have the clients leave with. Okay. As well as a glass of pins. I think I already mentioned that. So that's your welcome table. We like to have kind of a social setting, but making it not about the food. So we do have a bucket or a pretty bowl actually of iced water. Have that available with infusers if you choose to, or you can just have the water because you're already starting to teach them habits of health. They walk in and you're not serving soda, you're serving water, helping them learn the habits of health right from the get-go. So maybe infusers, and Stephanie's been wonderful about having a pretty cake plate with little bits of the bars cut up, just bite-sized pieces of different bars. Again, not making it about the food, but having it there next to the water station so that if someone wants to sample, they certainly can.
Okay, and what we've been doing is a third table, and this is totally optional, but we just happen to have the space. We have another table available. So on an optional table, you may put a little display of food boxes. You might put the shaker bottle that they're going to get in their first order on there. You can put the Lean and Green cookbook. Anything you want to come up with, it just be a display. This is kind of conversation area where people seem to stand around and talk a little bit, maybe before it gets started or afterwards. But now let's get into the presentation tools, actually putting on the presentation. So the most important is the flip chart. When we have a group setting that's rather large, we'll use this size flip chart. In the beginning, we had a little bit larger flip chart. You've seen Greg's. But what we found is they do sell some that this is self-standing, so you don't need an easel. So I have actually carried this before to someone else's house and done a presentation where this is self-standing. But on another note, we also have this size flip chart. So when I go traveling, I carry this in my suitcase. And I got asked by some family members, wow, you and your mother look great. What are you doing? Oh, well, would you like me? Would you like me to show you? So I went, got this out of my suitcase, sat it on their dining room table, did a presentation, brought on 4 family members on the East Coast one night just by having this in my suitcase. So that's another option for you. This can be great for a one-on-one or a smaller group where this seems a little bit too big and too formal. So that's something that we've been doing.
Where did you get that little flip chart?
If you email Greg at teamtsfl.com, we'll send you the file. It's a PDF file. You can print it out at Kinko's.
Oh, okay, right. And this part was some insurance documents came in it. I saw it in a cabinet, threw the insurance documents out, and go, wow, how perfect. So since then, Gayle's found these online, so if somebody wants to know how to find these, you can email Gayle and she'll tell you.
Email me, I'll send you.
They're about $12.
Actually, email Greg.
Email Greg.
Greg and the same information. We'll get the whole information out to you if you email Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great little easel.
So anyway, the flip chart is the beginning of the presentation. The next thing is the Achieving Optimal Health DVD. You all get this in your welcome kit when you come on board.
Your health coach kit.
Health coach kit, excuse me, or health professional kit. You'll get the Achieving Optimal Health DVD. The next thing we use in our presentation is before and after pictures. And what we're showing you today is 2 different kinds. You can go very professional looking and go to Kinko's and have your pictures printed up. Or, this is mine. I just printed this off the printer, put it in a little piece of plastic. And this you can pass around the group. So either one. You don't have to start out big.
This is overkill when you're going in and talking to 2 people. You'll want that size. But if you're talking to a large group, then
Makes sense.
this is nice.
Let me back up. On the DVD, we've done everything from sitting around the sofa in the family room to actually putting up a projector and a screen. So that could, or it could even be sitting at a little computer. At Starbucks, you could put it on your little computer and show it. So it can be any size presentation format. Next is the BMI and trilogy chart. So when you're doing your presentation, you'll want to be sure you have a copy of this. All your guests would have one in the clipboard, but when you start talking about BMI, here it is. And then again, you can have one done up in a bigger format if you like.
Greg can send you the file for that too, because it's got his picture on the bottom.
Okay, and then again, same thing with this side. When you're going to be using, when you're talking about this side of the trilogy, you'll use this as your visual. And then again, in the presentation, we always talk about Dr. A's books, The Habits of Health and Living a Longer, Healthier Life. So you'll want to have those as part of your presentation.
And I do use this one. I mean, I show people. It's tattered, it's worn. Yes, I've used it, I've read it. I show them where I've actually written inside of it that it is an interactive program that they can actually write in their books because they own them.
And then lastly, next tool would be the welcome folder. And during the presentation, you will you'll be pointing out information in the Quick Start Guide as well as the Living a Longer, Healthier Life Path to Health brochure. Okay?
Okay, so there's the tools, the things that you need to just put on your presentation. If you're doing it very spontaneously, if you just have the welcome folder with you, you can do the entire presentation with just that information. Tips, one, start on time when you're going to hold a presentation, doing an optimal health presentation for clients. Start on time, be respectful of their time, and end on time. You'll notice how much we're into time and being very aware of your time as well. Congratulate your guests for coming. Don't thank them. You know what this can do for them, so congratulate them for taking the first step toward changing their life. The presentation itself begins with an introduction, and a great introductory question that Greg has taught us is, if you could choose optimal health, would you? And some people look just like you did right then. You'll go, no, seriously. How many of you would choose optimal health? Make it, again, interactive. But have them start thinking, because most people don't think they can achieve optimal health. So that's a good opening question.
Okay, so after we open the presentation and ask the question, then we talk about the fact that we're going to watch the video. And what I do first when I do that is I edify Dr. A, because they don't know who he is, and I tell them that they're going to see him in the video, and this is who he is, and a little bit about him. And then I say, and while you're watching the presentation tonight, both the video and when we talk about the program, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. And these 3 questions are, does this make sense? You know what? Did we pass out the handouts?
They have the handouts.
Okay. All right. So the 3 questions are, does this make sense? Can I do this? And if so, how do I get started? And then we'll put the video on.
Okay. Moving right along, you go right into the flip chart presentation. And during this part, we're not going to go through the presentation itself because you've all gone through this.
You guys are on YouTube too. We have a video of you guys.
We're on YouTube.
And you actually saw a little bit more professional version this morning with Denise and Greg on it was the same presentation, just in a little different format, really.
For a health coach.
Earlier on today. But we're going to use this to show you when to bring in your tools.
So the different tools that we mentioned that you need during the presentation is just simply to point out where in the flip chart presentation you'll use those tools. Very first page, when you get down to the icon for the Trilogy of Health, that's where you have them on their flip chart, or on their clipboard. They have that. You want to take the time right then to have them check their current reality in the 3 areas. And this is your opportunity to explain to them how all 3 areas of the trilogy work intricately together. I thought you did such a great job when you were talking about, getting over your gout and how that changed your mental status. Well, you have to tell stories like that to help people understand that as their bodies become healthier, their mind is going to become healthier. They're going to become de-stressed. They're going to not be depressed about the way they look. And also their finances are going to be positively affected as those medication costs go down. And so you have to show how all of those work together, but they're scoring themselves. And current reality is a great place to start. So we do that there. And then we talk about successes. And the successes is when we pull out the before and after pictures. Give our own personal stories. And if there's multiple coaches doing it, we let, several different coaches will give their stories. If, for example, you're doing a presentation and let's say a successful client has brought someone to this presentation for you, then you would certainly want the client to tell their success story as well. And that is where we show our before and after pictures.
And can I add, if you have an option to match the success stories with the audience as best as possible, for example, if there was a health professional in the room and they were a guest, let any of your coaches that had relations with health professionals or were a health professional or different walks of life, things like that are helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, next page, we go to the BMI. We'll just have them flip over their trilogy chart. And again, take their current reality. This is such a wake-up call. People think, it's not that I'm sick, but when they circle the number and where they are on the BMI chart, they realize that perhaps they're not in the kind of shape that they expected to be. So again, that's a current reality check, and that's where we use that. All right, when we get to this page, this is when we're going to pull out the welcome folder, because we talk about the three-prong approach to take shape for life. And that is using the 5-in-1 meal plan during the weight loss phase and show the quick start guide that they'll be receiving with their first order. And we couple that with the Habits of Health system, which is the Habits of Health lifestyle program, and that's also when we show Dr. A's books.
I feel like they're not.
And then, of course, the health coach being in the middle as the most important part that reaches both sides of that and pulls it together and holds it together along with the bio network of support. So you're just showing them all of it, and we've got visual representations of each thing.
Okay, when we talk about can you eat every 3 hours, and we talk about their meal plan, that's when we again bring out the quick start guide. And what we learned in the beginning is they don't know what a lean and green is. So this is a great time when you get to the lean and green to get out your quick start guide and tell them it's all right here. It's going to tell you on pages 4 and 5 how much protein, how many servings of vegetables. So it's simple. And that way, that's not a scary part of it when they're going to be on their own.
Okay. Then when we get over to the getting started, simply say it begins with the client health profile, and you've already filled that out tonight. So you've already taken care of step 1 in getting started with your own personal program. Go through the different parts. When we get down to the support system, we also want to invite people to consider who else they might know who suffers from weight-related diseases. Maybe they know someone in their life who is struggling with diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol that could benefit from this program. Whether it's for them or not, they may know someone. So you want to bring that out right away.
And mention the referral program.
And the referral program, that they certainly would be getting that referral reward credit for anyone that they might refer to you. And what a gift they can be giving to someone else. Also, though, want to be sure that it doesn't have to be someone who's sick. That it might be someone in their life who just is interested in being healthy. They're already healthy, but they're interested in being healthy for the long term. Who can't benefit from learning Dr. A's Habits of Health? Everyone. So whether they're healthy or not, they can benefit from this program. And
Okay, so next is the closing. And in the closing, we'll say something like, when we started, we asked you to ask yourself 3 questions. Does this make sense? Can I do this? And how do I get started? And then we'll say, if it's a group atmosphere, we'll say, get with the health coach that invited you. And if you're ready to get started, all we need is a credit card. That's it. Because we do an optional business invite, so we want to keep that very brief. Okay.
And the optional business invite is simply that we have partnered with Dr. Anderson, and you'll know based on your group whether you want to even go into the business presentation or not. But that optional business invite is that we've just simply partnered with Dr. Anderson in the mission to get America healthy. And if they have a heart for helping others, or if they're interested in simply looking into this new health profession as a health coach, or perhaps they're just looking for an additional stream of income, that we'll be going over the business basics in about 15 minutes. And they're invited to stay if they'd like.
I love it.
I'll just point out that we do have that portion of the business presentation also on the flip chart here and here. So we're ready to turn the page and keep on going in about 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Okay.
We have a few minutes for questions?
Questions?